Okay, so we're going to talk about the bridge and the song Only King Forever by Elevation Worship. It is important to know that, sorry, I'm trying to get situated here. It's important to know that when you're playing the bass in general, to be rhythmic and to also be dynamic. Now, I don't want to seem like a nutcase on this, but those two things are going to take somebody's worship experience, and they're going to take them from being mediocre to really sometimes life-changing. And you know, the more they worship, the more the Spirit is present. So, with that, your role as a bass player is to work with the drums and to develop a sense of rhythm that really provides a foundation for the song. Now, with Only King Forever, now that my little spiel is out of the way, with Only King Forever, there is there's an awesome underlying bass part that adds flair and a freshness to the song while also working hand in hand with the drums, mainly the kick drum. And not to call anybody out, but oftentimes I just see some things being missed. And if you're, probably because I'm a bass player, I can spot it. I can spot it out. Nonetheless, depending on your skill level, the most important thing to do is play music for God and not focus so much on your talents and, well, this person's not any good, so they shouldn't be up there. And all of those things are completely meaningless and should be avoided at all costs. So with that being said, this video and walk around of this song is not to tell anyone that they suck and they're doing it wrong. It's just to maybe offer some insight and some advice to them so they may progress in their craft. You know, the number one thing to do is to receive feedback openly and follow through with it. So, with that in mind, I didn't want to come off the wrong way by doing this. With that in mind, there are several versions of this song, and sometimes you may hear it differently. There's live versions, there's studio albums, and Elevation Worship, like most worship bands, has several different bass players that play at different times. Each of them may feel around the scales a little bit different and add different notes in. But for the most part, these are some consistent ways that you can spice up this song rather than just play the roots. So, being rhythmic, let's just go with the basic stripped down version of the roots, and we'll start here. Now, it's very important to know before I hit play that the first round when you're playing this song, the first time through of the bridge, there is no bass, but just for time's sake, I'm going to play it with bass. So let's go ahead and follow it through rhythmically with just the root notes. You're going to be hitting a D, a C, and a G. So here's just with roots, still following the drum. So that's the basic bass line, following the roots while remaining rhythmic. Now, if you don't know what I mean by saying rhythmic, here's something that doesn't fit there. Well, it does, but this sounds better. If you're just playing a driving beat the whole time, you're completely changing the mood of the song. So you'll be hitting the right notes, but you'll be changing the dynamics of the song, and it'll lose its power. Here's an example of that. As opposed to now listen here and you'll see where the driving beat comes in. Right here. So you'll see the differences there. Now, if you're past that and you say, okay, I understand how to lock into the kick drum, I understand what it means to be rhythmic, I understand dynamics, and I follow you, then let's go ahead and progress to some fills, which are actually on the record, and in the live versions often. Not always, but most of the times. So let's follow this through again. The first time through this is silent, and then we'll add some fills. Now, if you'll notice for that part, I didn't do the driving bass line at all, just because I wanted to give you some examples of how to be rhythmic and add the fills. But it is very important, like we talked about earlier, to enter that driving beat. So with that in mind, play around, have fun. You know you're in the D, C, and G. And an example, again, just to play those real fast, was... Alright, so that would be the bridge, and take it, have fun with it.